The UDA political luminaries are asking very tough questions about the fate of the grassroots elections that was poorly attended. And despite of a promise that election was going to be done, that grassroots election was going to be done in a digital mode to ensure that results will come out very fast. The results are being withheld, while the aspirants that vied for different positions are asked to launch their disputes with the Dispute Resolution Committee. Today they are asking, how are we going to launch the complaints if we don't even know the results? On what grounds? The majority of those complaints are just mad on delays to deliver the election materials. Others also complained that some polling stations did not vote. But all that was actually planned to happen, because a snippet of how the elections was done in the 4 counties of Busia, West Pokot, Narok, and Nairobi, and Homa Bay really paints a very glimpsed picture on what exactly happened. In this podcast, I want to tell you why the UDA grassroots elections was plagued by a national boycott. Kenyans kept off, and they sent a strong warning to UDA party that would really inform how 2027 would look like. Welcome to the Bold Analysis. My name is Kevin Oduor. I just want to look at some photos here that shows what exactly transpired in that grassroots elections. In Homa Bay, for example, this is video that was taken in Omolo Agar polling station. In Omolo Agar polling station, voters were given the UDA merchandise. And as you can see inside that polling station, they're putting on the caps and the shirts, and would confuse them with whether they are delegates, they're voters, or they're just security details. And this is the place that Malala visited in Homa Bay. In a whole Homa Bay County, reports indicate that only 6 polling stations voted. And they had to go and walk through the streets, picking by passers and giving them UDA goodies so that they could line up for a vote, their photos be taken, and to try to create an impression that people are decamping to UDA. So Malala gave a speech and created some very unnecessary story about violence and how things were going on. But in Homa Bay, the voting was mad with bribery, with the old ruling party just telling them to turn out and vote. The candidates that were vying for that seat are really not even out, and there is no photo being seen of a UDA candidate vying for any position there. So ladies and gentlemen, so much are at stake, and after that election, another group of people, as you can see in this video, were actually given some merchandise to go out and dance and sing along the road so that they can create an impression that the turnout in Homa Bay was actually overwhelming. But contrary to that, that is not what exactly happened in Homa Bay, and people did not turn out to vote. And I think it's simplistic to say that it's an ODM zone, which is yes true. But UDA party has also been running some activities there. They have really been trying to establish that as their base. A very sneak peek of what happened in Busia is not different. As you can see in that photo there, the voting materials were even put outside by the road so that bypassers could actually see that there is some activity going on. And remember, in the whole of Busia County, the voting was only done in Teso North. I think it's Teso North, where the UDA has an MP. And even in that Teso North, where they have UDA like the MP, the turnout was poor, low, and people kept off the polling station. In this place, contrary to a statement by the National Education Election Board chairperson, Anthony Mwaura, It is not true that elections were actually done digitally. Elections were done manually. Like here in Busia, people would come and they were told, even not in the register, they not use any register to pick. Get bystanders, people who just want to come and you vote, your photo is taken, and you're given a stipend. And these are the sneak peek of what happened in Busia. I want to look at the election in Narok. A late arrival, this is Emurua Dekir, I think this is Bomet, Emurua Dekir constituency. These election materials arriving late midday by a chopper. And later on, elections happened in very few polling stations with a very low turnout. Not so pleasing photos were shown or shared from Narok. Just try to create an impression. And Nairobi was not different. In Nairobi, I think apart from Sakaja, who came out to vote in St. George's Primary School, as you can see here, and he actually went there and realized that he could not vote because he was registered by a passport. And the UDA party later came and said that it was a mistake and they rectified it. But the truth from it, Sakaja just decided to let the party go with it. The report indicates that it was just a message being sent to Sakaja that he was not wanted in the position they really wanted Gakuya to take it. So Sakaja was registered in UDA through his national ID. And even in the voters register by the IBC, Sakaja is registered by his ID. But he decided to let the party go away with the narrative of that issue of passports. KJ and a host of MPs, there are no photos of them being seen voting or even MCS voting that grassroots elections. Why? And they would later come out and make press briefings of how the kits and the voting gadgets are faulty and that's why they've not voted. But reports indicate that people didn't want to be seen as voting in that UDA grassroots elections because things are not fine. And the default of some of those election materials, especially in a polling station, where an MP is supposed to vote, was deemed to happen. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to explain to you why that grassroots election was plagued by national boycott. Kenyans boycotted. And what is the message, the signal that they are sending to the president? You can as well see the country is telling the administration, and politicians should just grasp some few lessons from that, that Kenyans are feeling elections is not a priority as we speak. And it's not a priority because even just 2 years ago after they voted, with a lot of hopes that things were going to change, that a change of regime would actually occasion a change on how things were going on, that has not been achieved. And no one will actually waste his time to go and line up for grassroots election to change the party positions, or rather to vote for his party, to vote for the party leaders, because that doesn't have direct impact on people's lives. And not even about that. I can tell you that whatever happened in that UDA grassroots elections is a message that Kenyans might have a very low turnout in 2027 general election if the politicians are not going to listen to the voter. The voter is very angry and the voter is not interested in voting. I saw the 2022 election turnout was lowest in terms of our progressive elections. The turnout vis-a-vis the number of registered voters in the 2022 general election was below expectation, and with some areas turnout even below 50%, including Nyanza. So much is to be said, but much is to be done. The politician must put its act together because the voter is not very happy. And that is the message that they must grasp from that grassroots election. The other second thing coming out here is that Kenya Kwanza is likely facing a rebellion from his support base, from his supporters. Why am I saying this? Out of this election, let's say for Homa Bay, which is an ODM zone, and so it's normal for them to try to marshal numbers through dubious means. But how about Busia? Busia is an ODM zone, but Teso North, where that by-election, that grassroots election happened, that is their base. There was no turnout. Now, Amurwede Kir is a constituency of Jalan'go. That is a UDA area in the Kalenjin. So, what you'd expected is a big turnout. And Nairobi is also fairly, but Nairobi is one of the most hurt counties by Kenya Kwanza policies. So the country is showing its fingers to the administration, and Kenya Kwanza is likely to face a big backlash in 2027. Observers say that's why Raila Odinga is making a political comeback and will save everything just to be in the ballot in the next election. The Ruto's hustler nation that was pegged on uplifting the downtrodden is depreciating, and I think is at its deathbed. Because what you would expect is people that will turn out to vote are people that feel that the hustler motive of raising them, of uplifting them, they are seeing signs of it. But that is not far from what's happening. The grand feeling of policies being forced on the people is also making the public to feel we're not part of it. Everything is being forced on us. It is true that those who have should contribute to help those who don't have. It is morally true, not ethically right or economically viable. But again, even after you take from those who have to help those who don't have, we should at least show signs of using it. Those who that money is supposed to help is not helping. And that is why Kenyans are feeling so much is being forced down our throat. Why should they take time to vote in a UDA grassroots elections? Even at this time, the country was talking about the flood, so many things are at stake. And the UDA grassroots elections have been kept silent, kept off, because people kept off. The turnout was underwhelming. Imagine a constituency where you have more than 20,000 voters, and in your register, a UDA membership, you have around 10,000 people, and then people that turn out to vote are less than 50. Do you come out and say, I have voted, we found a new constituency chairman, and that constituency chairman, even if he's an area MP, he has gotten more than 100 votes. How do you even make that public? And the media captures it. So there is a fear of the shame because people boycotted that UDA grassroots elections. Thank you, guys. Much is to be said, but more is to be done.